What's happening, sports fans? We welcome you back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. This is part insert number here, depending on which order these all come out in, of us just getting to know other people from around the county in terms of what is the status of status of high school sports media coverage today. We're joined by Jalen Fong from the Valley Sports Network. That lighting situation is a little washed out. Let me see if I can make that pop a little bit more. They have added to our hat collection. This will go up there. Jalen was kind enough to also pay some compliments. Thank you very much for being on the show with us, Jalen. We'll get to everything that you want to talk about in just a second, but you were quick to admire the Crawford hat up there. What do you like so much about Matt Marquez's looks?
You know what? I'm a big Indianapolis Colts fan, and it kind of very mirrors the look that the El Centro Spartans, one of our local teams, and their logo and how they designed their uniforms, and it's just right when I walked in, that had it popped out.
It pops. So, Jalen, you were joining us, as we said, on behalf of the Valley Sports Network, and also just on behalf of high school football enthusiasm in general. We have a little bit of relevant football to talk about. I also want to get some chance to just talk about what VSN is up to and your guys' general mission. But let's start specifically with the football, because you initially reached out for Central versus Mater Dei Catholic. That matchup to me is an interesting one, because I think you guys would view Central, or you guys would view Mater Dei as the underdog. We would view Central as the underdog, because we each have very divergent opinions on where this game meets up at the season. So let's talk specifically first about that game, and then let's get into it afterwards about what VSN is up to. So for this game specifically, why is such an interest for you?
You know, a lot of people in our area are rooting for Central, but I really wouldn't say that we would consider Mater Dei the underdog. This is the second game in our area that schools from our area have hosted a state champion. Brawley, of course, hosted Scripps Ranch week 1 and came up with the victory. This, Central, Coach David Pena has always had a knack for having a high-profile marquee matchup. In the past couple of years, he's scheduled 2 Texas schools, or the same school, but he's played them both away and at home, Del Valle. So this is just another chapter of him trying to have a marquee team come over to play in our area, and you don't get much better than Mater Dei Catholic.
I find it interesting that you value in high school football teams that are defending state champions, because I think in high school football, more than any other level, the turnover is insane. And it's really hard always to, to connect from year to year is like, hey, this year's team is going to be next year's team. But hearing you say that about those two does put it kind of an interesting perspective. So Central and Brawley are out there big game hunting now, is what you're saying. Yeah. The 2 Texas was during the COVID spring season, right?
The second one was. The first one was before the pandemic.
It was before, but that was the one where Texas came to.
No,
it was before, because time has flattened.
Exactly.
So which one came first? Did they go to Texas?
They went to Texas first. I think it was in 2019. This is before the pandemic. Okay. And then they had just came back this past season.
They came back here. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because the 2 Texas, that was a very cool experience.
Yeah, that was a tough trip. That was before I went and worked for Valley Sports Network. I was working for another organization, but yeah, that was.
But you hear the stories of it. You're told the tales. I'm sure.
Yeah. I went and made that trip. It was a 11-hour drive from where I'm at to El Paso.
How do you straight shot? Break it up into 5 hours. How do you do an 11-hour drive from Central to El Paso?
So, like I said, I left early from work on a Thursday. I drove to Phoenix to a buddy's house, stayed the night over there, and I brought him with me from Phoenix to El Paso. We woke up at 5 in the morning and got there at 3.
That's a great friend to roll with you from Phoenix to El Paso for a high school football game that it has neither of his town is not represented in either side there. Yeah. I can dig that. So for the Mater Dei game specifically, as our intern rejoins us here. Hey, intern, come sit down. For the Mater Dei game specifically, I think I get the sense that you guys are hoping that this maybe brings a little bit of centralized coverage and appreciation towards Central and everything that you guys have been up to. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but you guys feel probably rightfully so because you are based entirely out of it as opposed to others of us that are based kind of just across everything, but that the Valley either feels separated or treated differently or just not adequately represented. I would argue that we no longer live in a centralized world where there is like this is the gold standard for what high school sports is. So for you personally as a person or for you as an organization, what have you guys been really making as your mission statement kind of over the last couple of years? Because I've seen a ton of expansion from just kind of being a social media account that was about, hey, like we want to rep our teams and we want to spread the word. And now it seems like you guys are doing some really cool stuff. You got more podcasts coming out. You've got live game broadcasts. You've got written articles. You've got all sorts of stuff. So let us know what everybody's up to out there and how people can help consume and spread all of your stuff.
Well, primarily our main focus is the broadcast. Before I came on, they were audio only, similar to how you would get.
And you're saying, when you say the broadcast, you're saying Friday night lights, watching a high school football game on your phone and or mobile connected, whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Go ahead.
And now we've gone to a point where we broadcast our Game of the Weeks live on YouTube. We've expanded to now we're able to do 2 broadcasts, one from our main group featuring Ron Rubio and Will Torres, our founder. And then we also have another set of broadcasters, John Moreno and Vic Carrillo. They cover the south end of our Imperial Valley. And with further expansion and further support, we're looking for a third broadcast to, just spread the word for Imperial Valley. But our main focus is to give spotlight to some of the people or, for the kids to have exposure, people who can't come out to the games. If they want to see their sons or daughters play, cheer or whatnot, we cover a wide variety of sports.
Well, and we live in a world where it's no longer super pixelated, like they said my son's name, but I can't really tell. I don't know. I can't. It's just all blurry, and it's four stories up, and it's way zoomed. Like the video quality is good, the audio quality is synced up. You guys have nice graphics. That has to be nice on your end too, that like you said, you can go from 1 to 2, like that all of this in real time is becoming very producible, and what maybe 10 years ago would have required some serious capital investment or some sort of a news station out in the valley can now be done by what? There's 8 of you total, 10 of you. There's not that huge of a crew relative to the amount of stuff you guys are able to do. So what's that like?
Yeah, it's always a challenge. We always like to do more stuff, but considering all of us have other ventures outside of VSN, it's tough. But the main thing that I always find solace in what we do is because of our people. We have our owners, an ex-referee. Our main broadcaster is a coach. I covered and played and have seen every school that I've played in our area since I was 5 years old.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to school in Calipatria. My father was and still is. He's a basketball coach over there.
So are you the Hornets?
Yes.
All right, you're a Hornet. Deal.
Yeah, and so going with my dad, since I was 5 years old, he would take me to every school. But before I was a freshman in high school, I've been to every gymnasium, every football field in the Imperial Valley. So I'm well accustomed to.
Yeah, I've been to one of the Bell games. It's a hell of a night.
Yeah.
I also whooped that ass against Brawley in the playoffs a couple times when I was a player.
Oh, where did you play at, Christian?
La Jolla.
Oh man, you guys are fantastic.
We weren't at the time, but
it's great. It's a great place to be.
It's the easiest place to go to do a training camp for football because you get that nice coastal breeze the whole time, and literally Brawley is the antithesis of La Jolla in terms of just environment, heat and humidity wise.
Not to get off topic here, but
that's what we live for.
I'll tell you, 10 years old, we go play La Jolla Country Day in a playoff game. My dad takes me. I walk into the school. And I tell my mom when we get back after the 2-hour ride, I said, I got to move. I got to go to La Jolla Country Day.
Yeah, Country Day's a nice school also. Tommy Morris is the Country Day alum of the two of us. But yeah, it's the Country Day setup's cool as well. Hey, intern, come sit down. So you guys have 2 games a week.
Yes.
Podcast coming out. Where can people find this? Is it valleysportsnetwork.com? Is it I see right here you guys got all the social media, so plug where everyone can find your stuff.
Yeah, so our main source of content you can find on our YouTube channel. We post. It's all right, bud.
Come on, intern, get out of here. Intern, come on. Loves the camera.
That's fantastic. Our main source for finding content,
Keep going. I'll edit this out. Don't
no
worry.
problem. Yeah. So the main place you can find our content, of course, is our YouTube and Instagram pages. We try to post different variations of our games. We do live broadcasts. And aside from live broadcasts, we do a condensed version of games where we condense the best plays into around 30 minutes or so. And then for games that we don't live broadcast, we send a camera guy out there to do highlights, and we do like a 90 second to 3 minute highlight video of games that we don't get to reach out to for a live broadcast.
So you will be the one on the call for Modern Day Catholic Carlsbad?
So Modern Day Catholic Carlsbad, I will be the sideline reporter.
Oh, very cool.
And I'll be interviewing both coaches, preferably both coaches at halftime and at the end of the game, the winning coach at the end of the game. And our 2 broadcasters for that game will be our very own Ron Rubio and Will Torres, our founder.
Well, everybody, we encourage you to go check that out. I will say in terms of talking to John Joyner at halftime, I made the mistake week 1 of trying to squeeze a joke into a very tight window. And Coach, if you're watching this, A, always appreciate your support of the program. B, I hope you know I was joking when I said what I said. It was just I thought it was to bring some levity to the situation, and I hope you interpreted it as such. Sideline reporting sounds like a blast. I hope you have a great time there. Other than the live game broadcasts, give everybody a quick plug on what people can follow you guys throughout the week, and also beyond football season, will you guys be doing stuff?
And that's a challenge for a lot of us. Primarily, most of our viewership is with football, but if a team finds success throughout any of the other sports, one of our girls' softball programs, Hopeville, made it all the way to the state playoffs 2 years ago in softball. The Imperial Lady Tigers were state runners-up in girls basketball last year. So if there's a program that has a lot of success, we do try to find ways to cover them. But as you go into the winter and spring sports, a lot of us coach. I take the winter season off to coach basketball with my father.
At Calipatria.
At Calipatria, yes.
Calipatria. Deal. Well, let's have you on the show then in that capacity. Let's get the Calipatria basketball team in studio. Anything else that people need to know that we have not gotten to that you want to plug about Valley Sports Network before we say goodbye?
I just wanted to bring light to the schools that are in the Imperial Valley. There's so many schools here in San Diego County that need to get coverage, that are warranted of the coverage that they get. And I'm not saying that it's easy or a challenge for us to not get that coverage, but we need to do our part in making sure that schools like Calexico, Vincent Memorial, Hopeville, Imperial, these are schools that are very competitive in a lot of sports all year round, and we try to be that voice for them to show that there's a lot of competitive teams here that can compete with San Diego schools, and we just want to give them their shine. But of course, it's like your situation here in San Diego. It's all about cooperation with the athletic departments here in San Diego, and so as we continue to build and grow, the cooperation that we get from those schools, it'll just get better and better as the years go on.
There you have it, folks. Go check everything out that the VSN is doing. We really appreciate the couple of minutes that you've taken to learn a little bit more about what the landscape is. And I would say that, again, this is something where when you look back and zoom out at all these interviews, you realize that is what high school sports is now, and that we just don't live in that centralized age where there is a Central Union Tribune or something like that that is the golden standard platform. Everyone's doing their own variation of something, and everyone's doing their own awesome work. And the Valley Sports Network is somebody that, yes, toss them like it takes you so little effort and time to add somebody on Instagram that is producing football content that you want. It's very, very easy. You click follow, and they will deliver you football content. It seems like a very fair exchange. So how about you go check out everything that they are up to, and we will talk to you next time, sports fans.